Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show. We're down here in Boca Raton. It's starting to get really hot. Govy just informed me he's leaving town tomorrow. He just informed me, what you say, 97 next week?
It's like record heat down
97 degrees next week, all week. So it's going to be roasting here. Our reels are blowing up. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Our reel on the Donald Trump germaphobe thing is where we talked about it last week, where Donald Trump is like Howie Mandel, germaphobe. And they're trying in his trial to say that he had sex with Stormy Daniels, who admitted that she slept with over 5,000 men. And she claims Donald Trump slept with her without a condom, which, you know, I don't think a germaphobe.
But she passed out and was nervous with him.
Right. She was nervous. This was 18 years ago. Anyway, let's talk basketball real fast. We're coming to the end or the middle or almost the end of the playoffs, the second round. And Govy, big New York Knicks fan.
Yeah, we have a, this time of year, a lot of injuries come in. Players are playing, more than 80 games now. So, and these games are more intense at the end. So the Knicks are really banged up. They lost their backup center in Robinson. Their starter in Hartenstein is now hurt. They lost Bogdanovich. They lost OG Anunoby. They lost Randall.
Well, that's my argument. I think 100 games is too much for these guys. They're playing literally regular season. What is that, 86 or 80? 80 games. And the playoffs, if each one goes 3 and 2 or whatever it is, they're going to be 100 games.
They're young. They're getting paid.
Joel Embiid. How about LeBron James? He's 39.
LeBron James played an extra 8 seasons worth of basketball because he played for the Olympics, got to 7 or 8 finals.
Yeah.
Not everybody makes the playoffs, and they're done in April.
But see, the problem is you're at the playoffs. Everybody's paying huge money to be at these games, and the starters are hurt. A lot of them are hurt because they're used to playing.
Cutty, you're making $39 million a year. $39 million. You get 4 months off during the year. You're not really playing back-to-back days. Mainly, you get off days. You're flying on a jet that, literally, you get on your bus from the stadium.
A compelling argument.
The plane, you don't know. It's not like you're sitting at the airport for 2 hours. You're getting on a plane that has captain's chairs. You're playing Madden football. You're sitting there drinking, walking around. By the way, in the NBA, you don't even have to carry your bag or pack your bag. The team, they pack your bag, they unpack
How do they
your bag.
pack your bag? They come in your house and go in your closet?
No, they come in your hotel room when you're on a road trip.
Okay.
They give you your money, your envelope. They give you per diem money. So if you're away for 4 days or 5 days, maybe you might get $1,000 a day. They hand you a packet of $5,000. They will take your bags because they're all stacked up. They put it in your room. They unpack it. Hang it,
nice,
and they do everything for.
So I was 1.5 feet tall.
Right, you're allowed to order anything.
Basketball.
You're allowed to order anything you want. Room service doesn't cost you anything. You're staying at the Four Seasons, so if you walk on their floor, you'll see trays outside. You can see 20 trays of nothing but steak, lobster. They might only eat 2 bites of it. And they live it. It's not exactly like you're asking.
I understand, but, the game is so fast now. They're running full court, back and forth, back and forth.
Michael Jordan played 5 years in a row, didn't miss a game. Why was he?
Joel Embiid was gas out at the end of the season. He had no juice.
That's Joel Embiid. That's a slap on him. His body should be, your body. You look at most players today. I know from a friend of mine, Richard Hamilton, when he was playing,
Right.
I mean, these guys now, you're making money. You have your chef. You have your nutritionist. You have your hyperbolic chamber at your house. I mean,
I see that guy at my gym, Jason, whatever his name is. He's probably 55. He is all broken up.
Jason Williams.
I guess so. Tall guy.
Yeah, Jason
But the
Williams.
way he walks, I mean, physically, I've seen him try and play basketball, but he's all busted up.
Well, he did have one.
Yeah, he had a problem.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy. Anyway,
Yeah, what was the problem? What was the problem?
Yeah, a little bit of a problem.
Don't play with guns.
Yeah. No,
But anyway, so
guy.
there are the situations going. You have a great superstar in the Minnesota Timberwolves where you have Anthony Edwards. He's the next Michael Jordan. Looks like him, actually, at 22 years old. So Minnesota and Denver are tied at 2 games. That's a great series.
I like
Dallas,
Minnesota.
Dallas lost a heartbreaker last night that they should have won. And they're playing OKC, so that could be anybody's game. Boston has a cakewalk in Cleveland. And the Knicks play tonight.
Do you see in the Dallas games Mark Cuban? Is he still?
Yeah, he goes every game. He goes every game.
And is that Madeline, whatever her name is, the woman that bought it? You know, that owns that Las Vegas Sands.
No, I don't.
Madeline Edelstein or whatever. Is she there?
No, she's in Vegas. She's not.
She doesn't go.
She doesn't have, and he has total control. So so that's what they're doing. I got to give a shout out to Tommy Paul, American tennis player.
Bethune watches.
We're
trying to get him to sponsor the show.
Yeah, and he and he wears it during the match, and he's also an American that beat Medvedev today, so he's in the quarterfinals of the Rome.
That's impressive.
Clay courts.
Has he ever made it to the quarter?
He made it to the semis of the Australian Open.
Right.
But this was his biggest matchup, I think,
shout
of his life.
out, Tommy Paul.
And so now I'm going up to Philadelphia on tomorrow. And I don't know. I might have to take a look at Wildwood. I hear they have special T-shirts that are half off now. That have Trump.
So Trump had an 80,000. They're estimating 80,000. Maybe it was like his inauguration, where
that's right. But 40's a lot. It's like from the
Yeah.
If you ever saw the beaches in Wildwood, it's nothing like Florida. I mean, they are wide. I mean, you could drive on them.
Do you think he had more than 40,000 people?
I think that if you include the people that waited. Absolutely, that didn't even get in. Yeah, from the beach.
Well, it's so crooked because the press won't scan the crowd. They won't take a panoramic view of how many people are there. It's crazy.
You want me to tell you what's kind of neat? What you don't see on any of the broadcasts, that when he lands at the airport and his motorcade comes and he's driving through the streets of Wildwood, everybody is on their front yard, on their lawn chairs. They could have been waiting for 2 hours for the motor car to come, and they're waving to this guy like it's like July 4th when you were a kid,
Right.
and you're just seeing this celebrity.
And you can't even see in the windows; they're tinted.
But it's the president of the United States,
Right.
is going through downtown Wildwood, which is
Crazy. I saw the other day a clip of Kamala Harris, or however you say her name, her motorcade. It was insane. There were 100 cars and 100 motorcycle cops.
Roy, what did she do?
Well, she was in this motorcade. They had the whole highway closed off. What'd she do? She's the president in waiting.
She cursed the other day on TV, thinking she would be more likable. She would be more likable to the younger crowd.
Then she laughed.
You know what I'm waiting for though? I'm still waiting for when, if it's a racehorse and you're the jockey's riding the horse, he doesn't start whipping the horse until it's down the stretch they go. It's almost like a horse race. When are the Republicans going to start slapping the message out there that says, the president could be Kamala Harris?
Well, Donald Trump's got to get out of court. I mean, the campaign hasn't even started yet because he's in court. Let's dig into that. Let's do 7 minutes.
I think that when he chooses the vice president, when you now have the two teams, when it's Trump and Bergman or whatever, or Bergstrom, or it's Trump and DeSantis, or it's Trump and that's when there's your team versus the other team.
Yeah, that's when it starts.
And I would love to see a debate.
Color war.
I would love to see a debate between the two vice presidents like they used to have.
Oh, Kamala Harris will be great. She's a trained lawyer. She'll do well in a debate. She won't hurt him. But I just want to spend 7 minutes on this Trump trial because it's almost like a football game where the ref's on the other team. Yeah. Every time, our team gets the ball, they throw a foul. This whole issue with Michael Cohen is driving me crazy. In my career of building 16,000 houses, I had litigation. And I had lawyers, unfortunately, that represented me. And in all my cases, I'm sitting across from my lawyer, I'm sitting across from you, Govy, and we're discussing strategy. This lawyer, Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's lawyer, violated the attorney-client privilege and taped their conversation. Right. What a fucking scumbag.
Right. That is
Can you imagine this lawyer? Look, if you need to hire a lawyer, you have a problem, generally, right?
Right.
It's either estate planning or, you know.
Is that legal? I mean, some states, that's where it's different.
I thought it was illegal.
I think in some states you're allowed to record, or you maybe have to.
But you're incriminating. Let's say I committed a crime. Let's say
but that belongs to him. I don't think he can use it. And that's the other thing. I don't know why that's admissible even in court, because that's like a crime that he's breaking.
Well, like, you know, people go through a divorce and they find out the pillow secrets they told their wife, you know, now are open, you know, to discussion. Now the last vestige of privacy, attorney-client privilege, they just said it doesn't count. The guy sat across from his lawyer and said, I have a problem. This is what I want to do. Give me some advice. And the guy's taping it.
Right. And the judge is letting Cohen go do a TikTok show every night, but Donald Trump has a gag order on him, and he's running for president. So he's not allowed to say anything, and Biden can go out there and say whatever he wants today. He could say my predecessor, you know, did this and that, and, you know, like he's trying to put tariffs on China today. He's like talking about Trump. Trump can't like respond so fast.
Well, this is my prediction, and I want yours too, Govy. I think it all comes down to the jury instructions the judge gives. And if the judge gives jury instructions like, if you're sitting on a red chair, vote guilty. If it's a black chair, not guilty, or something so obscure and stupid, my prediction is Donald Trump loses.
My prediction is that it gets into a hung jury or an acquittal, but most likely a hung jury.
But how about if the jury instructions are so onerous that, you know, they can't?
Because I think that during closing arguments, I think that Trump's legal team will explain where is the crime that he broke. He might be a sleaze. You could think he's a sleazeball. You could say that what's this with this NDA that he paid? But all that's legal. So they have to just say, whatever you hear, these payments and these numbers, and that, you're allowed to pay.
Is that a good strategy for a lawyer to say, look, my client has done a lot of things wrong in his life. He is a bit of a sleazebag, but he didn't do this. I mean, do you make him look more human by doing that?
Well, I think you got to point out to the jury, and there's 3 lawyers that are.
He wasn't faithful to his wife. He's done some.
He doesn't have to say that. He could just say, listen, you're allowed to say, there was the guy that was the doorman that he paid that said that he had some illegitimate child. That was all bullcrap, but he paid. You got to go back to when it took place. So Donald Trump was with Stormy Daniels in like 2008. Now you go all the way 8 years later. Donald Trump decides to run for president. Still no word on Stormy Daniels. Donald Trump now, for 1 year, is jet-setting across the country doing these rallies. He's in Iowa. He's in Minnesota. He's in Detroit. He says he kisses Melania goodbye in the morning at 5:30 in the morning, and he comes home at midnight after 4 states, 3 rallies, and now he's at the goal line where he has 3 weeks until the election. And all of a sudden, Stormy Daniels comes out and says, I'm going to say that, you know, we had this affair. Now, you're allowed to.
I think it goes with the territory.
So he said, just pay her $130,000.
My chair
now,
is sinking down.
Yeah, let's pay $130,000. Now, by the way, her lawyer said that they would have asked for a lot more money if they thought the guy was going to win. You got to remember, everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. So if the guy doesn't give you any money,
130 sounds cheap.
Right, but not if
it's a cheap buyout.
But not if you think that the guy's losing and it's a gift. But if he won, then 130 is cheap. Then you should have hung out for it. But it's like gambling. It's like on the stock. So they got a 130 and he paid it. It's legally he's allowed to. It might look like he's guilty, but he's allowed to pay it.
I know, but it's just, you know, it's just watching the snippets of the news and the trial. It's so one-sided.
But
I feel bad for the guy.
Well, people have to explain.
Probably guilty.
But the judge, by the way, you know, a lot of times it's a rotation basis when you get the judge. This judge was handpicked, which that never happens. Never happens that you can handpick a judge. Generally, it's a rotation basis, and it's the luck of the draw. They stack the judge against them. The judge's daughter makes her money by campaigning and raising money to put Donald Trump in jail.
But the thing I don't understand, Govy, is if the guy has billions of dollars and he has all this real estate, who cares about 130,000? Why was it such a big deal to come up with Michael Cohen had to go to a bank and everybody had to borrow money? He doesn't have 130,000 in his pocket to go pay this. Why write? Why is he even writing? Checks out of trust accounts?
Well, here's the part that I don't get. Here's a question that I have. If I was working for Donald Trump and I'm married and I came back and I said, Donald Trump needs $130,000. And
who's that? You're coming back to
if I was Michael Cohen.
Okay.
I'm Michael Cohen. He's married to his wife, and I said, listen, Donald Trump.
He's Michael Cohen saying this to his wife. I'm
saying
trying
this,
to understand
yes,
what you're saying.
is saying this to his wife.
Got it.
Donald needs me to pay $130,000. I have to lay out the money to this porn star to get him off his back. And, they're going to reimburse me. But right now, what we're going to do is I don't have the money. I'm just going to take a credit line on the house.
It's unbelievable.
But if he told his wife or whatever, she would say, okay, do what you have to do. It's part of business. Just like she's not going to interfere. But for Michael Cohen to say, I had to sneak it behind her.
Yeah, open LLCs, and it's all this crazy nonsense.
What's he doing? He didn't do anything. It's not like he's paying the porn star. Why can't
I would pay it for you, Govy, if you got in trouble.
But my question is, why is he hiding this from his wife? What is he hiding?
Well, no, he testified that he couldn't take the money out of their joint bank account because his wife wouldn't have approved it. She feels that it's like this Melinda Gates.
But it was a credit. It was a credit line. It was a credit line. So there is no.
No, that's why he had to do that.
But he didn't tell her. He didn't tell her.
Well,
he still did it on
his house to do that. Didn't he take a lien, HELOC loan against his house or something?
Yeah, I mean, what they do? They do an appraisal on the house. So he has a house that's $2 million.
So crazy.
We're talking $130,000. It's no big deal. So all that stuff doesn't make sense, and it's just that it's at a point where they just want to smear Donald Trump.
Keep him off the campaign trail.
Keep him off the campaign trail, and maybe you could sit there and say, "I hate the guy so much, let's find him guilty." And when they appeal it and they win the appeal, the actual he'll already be in jail. But I got to tell you,
he's not going to jail.
Not going to jail.
He'll pay bail.
But what I'm saying is, the election will already have come and gone. But what's really funny is listening to some of these people at the Wildwood Shore, and they had Jesse Watters' guy on the beach interviewing some of them, and they asked this one woman, "Well, what happens if he's found guilty?" And she said, So Donald Trump goes to jail, he wins the election, he pardons himself, and he's right back out to the way. She had it all figured.
So while you're talking about that, Hunter Biden, which, nobody cares about, but real fast, his trial starts in a couple weeks. If he gets convicted, which it looks like he will,
right.
It was illegal for him to have a gun. Is Joe Biden allowed to pardon his own son?
Yes.
Do you think he will? Or let him go to jail?
It's a really interesting thing because if he pardons him, then you're basically saying...
Is that like you're guilty, they cuff you and take you right there, or you get to pay bail and stay out on appeal? I don't know.
I think that you can go to jail during sentencing. Maybe it could be 3 days later, a week later. But he has a decision. Either he throws out the gun control, it can't be gun control for everybody but my son. Drugs, you're in jail. I mean, they could show you videos of Biden back that he thinks that you should go away for 10 years if you had this much crack cocaine on you. So, that would be an interesting thing. I think he would pardon him. Because he can't take a chance and get out of office and let Donald Trump be president. Because Donald Trump is not pardoning anybody. He sees Navarro in jail.
Well, so the election is what, November 6th or 5th? So the change of power is not till January 20th, I guess. Right. So he has, let's say he loses, he has 2 months to write all his pardons.
It'll be the last thing.
On his way out, he pardons them. But getting back to that money thing, did you see where Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' ex-wife, they just split the foundation, the Gates Foundation, the charitable foundation, and as a parting gift, she got an extra $12 billion for her own foundation. She's going to use it for women's rights and equality and things
I
like
don't know. You
that.
know, she was a giver to the Palestinian movement that they had.
Was she?
Yeah, and so was Jeff Bezos' wife.
Was she?
Yeah.
That's
They
really
gave
bad.
but they give it to these they give it to these causes that then it like
I
splinters.
don't like,
It
I don't
splinters
like her
off
anymore.
Well, it splinters off. So I don't know if they know 100% where it goes, but it's like, you know, you give to one thing that then that thing gives to 3 other things, and it's like a vein, and it's like it.
I don't think she's on Match.com though with $12 billion.
No, I don't think you have to. But what's interesting?
I can't believe she gives to Palestinian causes, even with her high profile.
Not directly. I think she gives to a couple of charities that do give to the Palestinian.
Right. But whatever that company's called that searches all that stuff, they can find that out.
Dark money?
No, it's not Truth Finders. It's something where you find out exactly what somebody's giving to. There is
Jeff Bezos' wife gave to it.
She got $33 billion.
Yeah, and she's giving out money left and right.
More.
Now, what's interesting is right now is, you know, these rallies. What's going on with Joe Biden with taking away arms from Israel, like some of these bombs and stuff to Israel. So Joe Biden is in this situation where I can't remember a president in my lifetime has ever been in a situation where it's the Palestinians on one side, Israel's on the other, and he's trying to make peace with both of them. Like, there hasn't been peace in the Mideast in thousands of years, but Joe Biden right now thinks he could thread a needle and not choose a side, and he can make both parties happy. But instead, none of them are happy. And there was an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was the Palestinian chicken.
Great episode.
And this was the episode that after he ate at the Palestinian chicken, Larry David's walking down an alley. And the Palestinians...
Goldblatt's is on
one side, and the Palestinian chicken's on the other.
They're about to open up the second one.
The second
right?
Palestinian.
Yeah.
And all the people behind the barricade, all the Jews were like, come this way, Larry.
I think we have that clip, don't we?
Yeah. Is that something, Dorian, that you could put up there?
Let's see if we can find it. That was such a funny episode. That Palestinian girl was amazing.
She said, you could have me, Larry, and my sister. Give us a little thing when it's done.
Susan was really
Get the fuck over. And that is the exact, like, you think
it's
the
like
president,
when you saw it 10 years ago, you would never think that could be like real life.
from the president of the United
Right.
States is in that situation.
He gives a speech, I would never turn my back on Israel, and then he withholds funding for
Wait
them.
a sec. What do you think this was? What do you think he said to his wife Jill when he went to the Holocaust Remembrance Day? He had to give a little speech to all the Jews there, and he gave this speech and said, "Listen, I'm pulling these weapons from them tomorrow, so I'm not going to mention it today because they would go crazy. So we'll sit on that until tomorrow. Like the Jews are these idiots that can't see through that this guy gives this thing where everybody's applauding him, saying, "Oh, we're okay. He's gonna do the right thing," and then you find out that he's a loser.
I mean, it's unbelievable that he's turning. It's a democracy in the Middle East, and it's unbelievable. And
For Michigan.
It's just driving me crazy that all these kids on campus wear masks. If you're a tough guy, you want to be tough, take that mask off. Let's see your face. I understand you can tell by their eyes. I want to see their face. If I run any of them, I want to know who the hell you are.
But also, not only is he trying to get the students to vote for him, that's why he's doing it. Today, he listens to Donald Trump, and he wants to put 100% tariffs on China on the automobile industry because he's scared of Michigan because the auto workers are leaning towards Trump because they see that this electric vehicle thing is not working.
But I don't understand it because he's mandating electric cars by 2030 or whatever it is, and now he's like saying we can't buy electric cars from China. He's putting a tariff on it, doubling the price.
It doesn't make sense because we don't have the rare earth minerals to make it. So we still need China. I mean, it's like he's like all of a sudden think he's
everywhere.
Yeah, he thinks he's hardball, but we need them. We need them to make the cars. So
it's unbelievable. He's all over the place.
And they were saying they're now making cars in China, electric cars, for $12,000. They said that if they put 100% tariff on it and it's $24,000, it'll still come out cheaper than the American cars.
Well, isn't Elon Musk making Teslas in China? He's got a factory in China.
Yeah, but I think he's also doing some other stuff.
Well, I think that's Apple's problem. Apple's going to have a tough problem because so many of their component parts are made in China, and if Joe Biden's starting a tariff war with China, maybe we should short Apple stock.
I don't know. He's already messing with the Apple stock, you know. The only thing I would do with the Apple stock is find out what Paul Pelosi's doing. And if Paul Pelosi's shorting Apple, get off of Apple. I mean, he just follow him with NVIDIA and all the other stuff he's making.
Well, you made a good comment. Apple's going to start coming out with TVs. The hardware, not Apple TV, you know, the program, the actual hardware. And can you imagine if your phone rings, I can see Govy on my TV, it interrupts or it splits the screen, and it's half of my TV show and half you live on my screen?
What's incredible about what Apple's doing is, right now, if you went up to most people and you said, how many TVs do you have in your house? And you might say 3, 4, 5, whatever. Mostly everybody has Samsung, Sony. They might have Pioneer, you know, some of the other ones. But Apple isn't taking that share. But once Apple makes their TVs that are like the best quality
one and and it comes up on the TV.
She doesn't have to accept it. It's just like FaceTime. You can still get voice only, and she doesn't have to.
Right. If I'm not wearing my makeup, I don't know if I want her to see what I look like.
Right. So that could do. But I mean, there's so many. There's so many. You know, things that you could do with it. But once Apple starts getting into the TV, you'll start fading out. You'll be like, okay, my next TV I need will be an Apple. And when you compare it to your other Samsungs, you'll say, okay, now when the next one comes, will be Apple.
Well, I mean, ever since Steve Jobs died, the phone is basically the same. They say, oh, we're going to have 3 cameras on it instead of 1. I mean, what's changed on that phone in 10 years?
Well, there's some other. No, because what you're asking me and you that use 2 functions. We still go hello and goodbye. But meanwhile, there's so many things people can make movies on it. You could do a podcast with it. You can have people that are, I think, produce movies that are in the Academy
off of a phone.
So we don't do that.
I don't even know how to change my ringtone.
Right. You don't even use FaceTime. When was the last time you used FaceTime on your phone?
I use it a lot because my son lives in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
So we FaceTime a lot. Okay. You know, he has a little baby, so I do FaceTime.
But there's other stuff that your phone could do so many things that we don't know how to use it.
Right.
Just like your car.
Right.
So,
but anyway, Govy, we wanted to do a quick show because you are heading out of town and we don't know when you're coming back. He's going up to his nephew's bar mitzvah up in Philadelphia.
I do, but I do.
Are you taking Tito?
I am taking Tito. He's on
Let's
the floor
bring
here.
Tito up here. How's Tito's?
I will in a second. I just want to say one thing.
Tito's eyesight?
Tito can see now. So my dog was blind for a while, so he's lying on the floor. But
and it looks like you got a haircut. You look good.
I did get a haircut.
Yeah,
But what's interesting though is I do have to say, Bill Maher, he does a podcast.
Right. Not as popular as ours.
But he had Stormy Daniels on.
Did he?
Yeah, in 2018.
Oh.
And she said that she was not attacked. She's not part of this Me movement. And all of a sudden, Bill Maher this Friday night said she lied on the stand right now because it contradicts everything that she said on his thing. So now, this week, Bill Barr went on.
Bill Barr.
He's
another Trump hater. He's a Trump hater.
He's a Trump hater.
He's the old attorney general.
No, not that. This is the Burr.
Oh, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, the comedian. I'm sorry, he's the comedian.
Oh, okay.
He's the comedian. And funny guy, really funny guy from Boston area. And those two were going back and forth. And finally, Bill Maher mentions the students and the Palestinian movement. And he says to Bill Burr, well, what side are you on? Barr says, I'm on the student side. And Bill Maher says, what? And those two got into like a heated little argument. How, like, here it is, two comedians that they had to, like, agree to disagree and move on because...
And they didn't expect that to happen. You don't think it was scripted that way?
It wasn't. And Bill Maher just was trying to figure out, where are you coming from? And Bill Burr...
Would you ever go to a show on Columbia's campus? We'd be in the middle of the ruckus.
Yeah, why not?
That would be crazy.
Why not? I think that people should go there to like.
I saw a friend that does a podcast last night. I suggested it to him. I said, "Go on their campus. You would do a great show."
It would be a great idea.
Yeah,
it would be a great idea. And by the way, what would you do if you saw your child graduate Columbia University, and when the dean handed her diploma, she ripped it up on stage? What would you do?
They would physically have to restrain me. I would be like climbing over chairs and people to choke her.
Would you stand up?
I would be insanely crazy.
Would you stand up and say, "That's my kid. That's my kid"?
God.
Would you be proud? That's my kid that did that.
My kids would never do that. It just would never happen. 100%. It just wouldn't happen. I don't think I can't even think it could possibly. I mean, as a parent, that you know, so many of these parents work so hard, and many of them are on financial aid. If you could be
a fly on the wall when the kid comes home later on that afternoon, and you're at the dinner table, what do you think the parents could say?
I can't even imagine. I mean, you know, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion and speech, but I think when you put a kid through college, and you're a regular American, and you're sacrificing so much to put your kid through, that's a shared joy.
Right.
It's not.
You're working for it.
You're working for your kid, for them to get through that college. And I think that would be a very selfish move on a kid. If a kid wants to go protest on their own and get arrested and deal with the consequences, that's one thing. But to embarrass a parent in front of all the peers, I think that's pretty tough.
It is.
I mean, there has to be some sort of disconnect.
You know, that's why I'm a firm believer when I see all these schools. I'm a firm believer in charter schools. And I do think that inner cities have to have choices that kids could go to, because I think that the teachers that are teaching kids today, they are teaching them their ideas that they want the kids to do, not let them be free thinkers. And I think charter schools is going to be the way that you can bust up some of these teachers' unions.
Well, it's awful when one thing I always did when I was building all those houses for all those years, I always looked at every agreement of sale, had a financial statement, and I always looked at what people made. I was always curious. And up in the area that we grew up in, you know, the last couple of years, let's call it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, a school teacher who does not work in the summer and has tenure, which means they can't get fired, in North Penn School District.
140?
Yeah, like $150,000 a year. I mean, I
plus benefits, pensions.
Yeah, and how about if you work at Columbia as a professor? Okay, you're a professor. You're making $300,000 a year, and you're not even grading your own papers. You have, you know, graduate students that do that. I mean, the numbers, the unions have really driven the numbers.
That's why I think charter schools are, you can bring in some of these young, talented kids that want to be teachers that can't get a break. But my last subject for the day, it's a sports thing for you. Your opinion, you're a golfer.
Yes.
Rory McIlroy files for divorce. She doesn't. He does. He files for divorce.
She's cheating.
And by the way, he won last week.
Was she cheating?
I don't know. He won last week's Wells Fargo
Brooks
tournament.
Koepka did it.
But he won last week's tournament and the PGA tournament, the majors this week.
Did she wait till he won before she filed? Or he had it on his mind. He filed, you're saying.
The guy has been horrible the whole time. He wins the tournament and files divorce. I mean, it was like
He's got to have a prenuptial, don't you think?
Absolutely has a prenup. Absolutely. But, I mean, that's unusual for him to...
Now, she was the javelin thrower, or she did
No. She was working for the PGA. She was actually one of these people that help all the players.
No, I think she originally was in the Olympics, where the pole vault, where you go on the pole vault and fly over the thing 16 feet.
I never knew that.
Yeah. I don't know if you can find that. Rory McIlroy's wife. Yeah, I think she was like a professional athlete.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
wow.
I do know that the pressure of the Live Tour and everything. But don't forget his fiance. You know, he broke an engagement. He was like 5 weeks away from getting married to Wozniacki. She was the tennis player, #1 in the world.
Right.
And the way he broke up with her was like long distance by a text, even though the invitations went out. Could you imagine wedding invitations went out and all of a sudden?
Yeah, I remember George on Seinfeld when his wedding invitations went out. His wife died.
From licking?
licking the envelope. They were poisoned. Remember that scene in the hospital and the doctor said she died from poison? But you would think a guy like that, how old is he, 32? I mean, he has all the money in the world. He's going to have unbelievable, like, crazy girls after him. It's going to be
but it's just
superstar.
You know, there's that TV show on HBO, like, or an Apple or Netflix. It's called, it's like Swing. It follows 5 golfers. You know.
Yeah, I looked for it. I couldn't find it.
It's great.
But I just got Netflix. I don't know.
They follow all the golfers.
Yeah.
And if they would have followed him this year with this, would have been like how lucky the documentary that followed Kelsey.
Wait, if he filed for divorce, maybe he's got a girlfriend. Maybe he was cheating on her.
Or maybe he doesn't want to get caught cheating, even though he was. He files for divorce, and then he could say, "Hey, it just happened."
Yeah. Well, Govy, great show.
Probably Tiger Woods is giving him the old.
Tiger
advice.
Woods is going to
giving him advice.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, single guy.
He's playing, by the way. He's paired with Adam Scott.
Oh yeah, used to be the best looking man in the world.
No, didn't he take his caddy?
Yeah,
he took his caddy.
Yeah, he took his caddy. Right. But he won that, what was that,
Masters.
People magazine, the best-looking guy, sexiest man alive.
Yeah.
You're up for it next year, Govy. Yeah, with that haircut, you look good. All right, folks.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Govy, have a great trip.
All right, see ya.
Take care.
I'm only one.